Today is August 3rd, 2020. We're doing pump training. So we're going to start here with these PACO. These are called PACO closed coupled and suction pumps. The reason they're called closed coupled is the coupling, there's no laser alignment needed. So they're already self-aligned once installed. End suction because they suck from the end and they discharge from the top. That's what's called an end suction pump. Very basic. Obviously, this is the suction, this is the discharge, the pump runs. Now, to start this up properly, you need to prime the pump completely. What that means is, if you have a pump shutdown, you need to shut down this pump for whatever reason, and you drain it, and you drain the line. When you start it back up, you have to get rid of the air. So in order to do this, is you open up the suction line slowly, that starts to fill up the pump, and on top here, just turn this a little bit, just enough where some air starts to escape until you get to the point of water coming out. Once you get a steady stream of water, you filled up the pump enough, you can turn, bump it on, make sure everything's okay, close the plug, and then your pump's primed and ready to go. As far as, so that's for that, that's just starting up. As far as maintenance is concerned, it's a fairly simple thing. You grease the bearings as per the instruction and operation manual. The schedule, I think it's once a year and it's 1 or 2 pumps. You got to be very careful when you grease pumps that you don't over grease. Bearings don't like to work in too much grease. They like to work in less grease, believe it or not. Everybody thinks we come here and we're just going to pump it, and the problems are going to go away. When you put too much grease, the bearings work too hard to push through, and you're actually causing more damage than you're doing any good. So that's that. You should always check your suction and discharge pressures. Make sure that you're not having an issue. I think this pump's on right now. So you're sucking in at 52 psi, and you're discharging at 100 psi. Shows you it's working. If you see this gauge bouncing like crazy, that means you got air in your system more than likely, or the gauge is broken. But you should always check that as part of your maintenance and making sure that the pump is working correctly. Occasionally you have some strainers here on the end. Depending on how dirty your system is, those need to be cleaned to get out all the stuff for the most efficient pump operating. However, again, when you do drain and clean the strainers, you have to remember to evacuate the air and prime the pumps afterwards. Are you guys good with that? Any questions on that so far?
This pump on right now, right?
This pump's on right now. Yeah.
And that pressure was supposed to be right on the supply.
I don't know what the system calls for, but you can look at the 2 gauges and you see that the pump is pumping, but I don't know what your system needs to be doing. I think these are on VFDs. They're controlled, separately, whatever, but it's on. And it should be rotating counterclockwise. You should be fine with that. That's basically the end suction pump.
Those valves over there, one is the isolation valve, that butterfly. On another side.
Yeah, one's here, okay.
This is isolation.
I'm not sure how they have that set up. I'm here for the pumps. I don't know it should be. This looks like a triple. Oh, it's a check. Okay.
That's a triple duty valve.
It is a triple duty.
Yeah.
Why did they put this butterfly on the other side?
Because they have isolation on the inlet.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah, they wanted isolation and the triple duty valve separate.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right, yeah. So you close them both and you're good. Any other questions for the pumps? No. Anything else you want me to add?
Right?
Yeah, I told them clean out the strainer depending on how the system is, if it's dirty or not. They're aligned, they're self-aligning. We talked about airbound, not to have air. I think that covers. You guys have any other questions here? Okay. Again, if it sounds, right now this is normal operating sound. If you start to hear a grinding or a very high like whining noise, then you know that you have an issue probably with your bearings. You're going to see, if the pump seal leaks, you're going to see it over here towards the shaft, and you start to see once you see a first drop, you know you have a problem. And that's when you got to get somebody in to repair it, because that first drop will become much bigger in the near future. It only takes one hair on your head cut into 10 pieces to scratch the seal face. So, and that's enough for water to start making its way through. And once water comes in, it starts to erode everything else and it makes it worse. So once you see one drop of water come out of this, for the most part you have a seal leak, get somebody in here to replace your seal. I guess that's it for the pumps. We'll go, what do we have? The expansion tank. Okay. This is your plate and frame heat exchanger. Water, now water comes in from one side, cold water comes in.
That's the chill water. The chill
Oh, this one's chill. Oh, okay. I thought this was. Okay. I'm sorry. So anyway, so but a heat exchanger, bottom line is hot comes in one side, cold comes in the other. The plates cool off the other line. Maintenance for that, periodically. I don't think you guys are going to be doing it too much, but there's a company. You know, you need a company to come in because it does get like a film on it. It gets dirt on it. And it needs to be cleaned every so often as per the IOM. Always refer back to the instruction manual. However, this does need some maintenance at times. And then what? There's an expansion tank, right? So then this is your expansion tank. Inside you have a rubber bladder. The rubber bladder holds the water, and on top there's compressed air. So when this was set, this was supposed to have a set point of certain psi on top of air to squeeze the bladder down, which causes the water to come into the system. This keeps your constant pressure in your system. You're not going to see too many problems with this. You may see it start leaking from the bottom, or you might see your pump cycling fast, on and off, on and off, on and off. If that's happening, you might have a bladder rupture. A quick, easy way to check is on top there should be a little Schrader valve. You press it down. If water comes out, you have a ruptured bladder. If air comes out, you're okay. And then there's another problem. So that's it. Other than that, it's pretty much set and forget that one. Anything else you want to? That's it. Okay. You guys have any other questions? No, nothing. The maintenance? No.
So this is the hot water, tertiary hot water system right here, right? So this is doing all your heating for the NRB building. This plate is coming off of your primary boiler loop upstairs. The secondary loop is your reheat coils on your VAVs and your air handlers and fan coil units. Pretty much all the hot water in there. The pumps that are behind you is the chilled water pumps. Those are your tertiary chill water. It's taking the primary chilled water through that plate and frame exchanger. The secondary side of that plate and frame is doing your 8 air handling units. That's it. Chilled water. 8 air handlers. NRB. Upstairs you have more of these pumps for your primary chilled water, your secondary chilled water, your condenser water, and your hot water. They're all the same pumps, all the same maintenance, greasing bearings, strainers, checking them occasionally. There's not much to the system. The pressures you're seeing in here is pretty much accurate. 50 pounds was the fill pressure. That's the set on the makeup water tanks. The expansion tanks. That's pretty much all you're looking at on the pumping systems.
Yeah, you really just want to be on the lookout for any unusual noise, any gauge fluctuations, that kind of stuff. Other than that, you're okay. Right.
These are your VFDs for those pumps. They're all controlling off of differential pressure set points that have the pressure transmitters downstream of the system. So this is what's going to modulate your pump speeds up and down. As devices are opening up and pressure is decreasing in the system, the pumps are modulating higher to deliver more water. As the pressure rises, as the pressure starts to rise, the pumps start to slow down to maintain your differential pressure set point. Chill water, hot water. That's it. So this room is the heart and soul of that building. So you have any problems with temperature in that building, looking at these mechanical gauges, pretty much, or your BMS system, this is where it's all coming from. Good?
Yep.
Good. Any questions about that?
No, you guys are good?
You have air separators that are part of the system.
Oh, I didn't see those.
An air separator and an air separator. They have automatic air vents on them. The purpose of the air separator is just to extract the air from the water. There's automatic air vents up top, so as the water falls into the air rises and bleeds out of the vents. And that's really it. You got a blow down strainer, you can pull this head off. That one's a little exposed. You can blow the schmeg out of the bottom of it, a little dirt leg. That should be done very rarely. Once a year maybe. The one last thing I wanted to mention is the bypasses. So around each one of these heat exchangers, okay, they installed the bypass. And if you look up here, you have this manual bypass where these two valves are closed. Okay? If you had a problem with these heat exchangers, or these heat exchangers had to be offline, if you were to close these valves on the pumps and open up, the heat exchangers, and open up these two valves, you would be bypassing these heat exchangers. So your primary hot water would go past these heat exchangers and go right through the building system.
But if we have a two heat exchanger, for example, we may keep one on and one on bypass. No, it's a one heat exchanger.
It would bypass both of these. So if you wanted to take...
They work together, it's one piece, or it's a two separate pieces.
This is two separate heat exchangers.
Okay.
Based on demand,
Yes.
you may need two to run. You might just have one.
We need to bypass only one of them.
If you need to bypass, you can't. You're bypassing both. So you see the way this pipe right here is? It's jumping, it's getting these heat exchangers out of the system. So if you were to shut these valves, the water would come this way and go out to your system, go into your suction side of your pump. And then this would send primary hot water straight to the building. So if these ever had to come offline, you open these valves up, you'll have heat. You can go back out. On the chill water, you have the same situation. This bypass line up here. Okay, you see it? With the round handle and the round handle. Two valves. So if this heat exchanger needed to come offline, you would open that valve and open that valve, and you could close the heat exchanger plant side valves, and your primary chill water would bypass this heat exchanger and go right into the suction side of the pumps and out. So if you ever have a problem with the heat exchangers, you have manual bypasses for both systems. These are just isolation valves. These are normally open valves. Your control valve is what's modulating the water temperature. So this is just isolation. That's modulation and isolation above it. And same thing on your plant side. You have isolation and isolation. So this right here, normally open. That's the plant coming out. So this is the water coming from your plant, from your chiller plant. It's coming in the heat exchanger. This is your water coming out of the heat exchanger back to the chill water plant. And then this is your NRB side. This is the NRB building. So the water's coming in from the building, cooling down, going out through the pumps and out to the building.